Good morning. It's Tom Padula here from TomPadulaTV and Insegna Booksellers, and this is our sixth lesson relating to the learning of Italian, and my special way of tackling the learning, because as I said in previous times, la pratica batte la grammatica, ma senza la grammatica non si può migliorare o perfezionare la lingua che vuoi imparare. So you cannot improve your language or perfect it if you don't learn, you don't learn the grammar. So this is what am I going to do today? Pratica, more pratica, but I'm going to introduce some elements relating to the 9 parts of speech, and going back to what we were saying before, what I was saying in previous lessons, is that I will use songs and poetry in order to teach the grammar. Now, these are presentations, and of course they require a lot of work in the sense of enjoy yourself with, learning new words. Now, where can you find the new words? Well, I'm going to show you today. We're going to do a few songs, and we will analyze them more closely, because if you remember correctly, and here we are, the 9 parts of speech are here. They are noun, article, adjective, pronoun, verb, adverb, prepositions, conjunctions, exclamation, and interjections. Now, the last 4 are invariable parts, and the first 5 are variable parts of speech. So what did we do last time? If you remember, we did we went through the noun and the article and the adjective that behave in the same way. In the terms of the noun, you have a noun, a singular noun, which you can look up in a dictionary, and then you have to know how to turn that into the plural. Also, a noun can have a definite article in front of it or an indefinite article. So the indefinite article is when it's not defined. So and before we do anything else, we remember the noun. Masculine nouns end in O, feminine nouns end in A, masculine and feminine end in E, and then the plural is the following. O changes to I, A changes to E changes to E. Now, this is not Italian. This is about the language. This is the language that we want to learn. Therefore, we have to learn the rules relating to this language. And these are the rules. Grammar is the rules of the language. But la pratica batte la grammatica. In other words, if you don't practice, you can't really learn Italian. So there are 4 parts to Italian, and 4 parts to Italian, and I'm just going through to go. There's the listening part, the speaking part, the reading part, and the writing part. You have to know that 2 that are related to speaking, listening, speaking, and reading, writing. So they allow you to speak to somebody individually or collectively, or to communicate with them through writing, or be the recipient of the writing of others through reading. So here we are. So you notice I put that indefinite article, then we went through the definite article, here we are, and the plural of the definite article. Remember, we said, il, lo, la, l'apostrophe, L apostrophe feminine, but lo also has the apostrophe there. I forgot to put it at, remember that? See, when you forget something, you actually remember. You remember that you forgot. So that's where we are. Then we went through the words of Carissimo Pinocchio, and you should learn the words. Here they are, and you remember all this. We also did Una spina e una rosa. That's another song. And so we're getting there. These are the examples of adjectives that we went through. More words from In Via dei Ciclamini, words in Via dei Ciclamini, if you remember, and we used the numbers here, 1 to 20. I was going to do 21 onwards today, but I don't think I'll have enough time for that. We'll do it next week. And this one's here was if you remember, the adjectives. Some adjectives come after the nouns and some come before the nouns. But these ones were the older ones that came after the nouns. But when you use the numbers, notice cinque guerre is before. The number there is like an adjective. Also, we talked about verbs. So these are the first type of verbs we've met. And we need to cover the verb section. And this is Dio come ti amo, if you remember, but I didn't give you the meanings of those words. And, well, I expect you to sort of look them up yourself. And also, here, you notice here the prepositions, and the prepositions combine with the articles. So there they are, the prepositions, at, to, at, to, in, of. But today I'm going to show you the prepositions in English, which ones they are. So here we are. We've got just a pronoun, and these are called subject pronouns. Io, tu, lui, lei, egli, noi, voi, loro. And these are used for verbs. The next thing is verb, the auxiliary verb. So, and then we went on to i giorni della settimana, I mesi dell'anno, the seasons, which you have to learn off by heart. The numbers, and these are some of the words of particular topics, like la scuola, school, il corpo, the body, il vestiario, capi di abbigliamento, that's clothing, la famiglia, family, the animals, la casa, il giardino, and then the food part, meals, food, drinks, I pasti, cibi, le bevande. So that's where we are with our revision. The only other thing there's there is the words of la scuola. I ask you to write down all the words relating to school or to family, for that matter. So don't forget, though, that la pratica batte la grammatica, ma senza la grammatica non puoi migliorare o perfezionare la lingua che vuoi imparare. So these are all the languages here, and what I am presenting in terms of the grammar, these are the rules for all languages. Languages have got the 9 parts of speech. And basically now, that's where we start today. And I wanted to talk about the other parts of speech, and I thought to myself, people speak English in Australia, and people speak English. Those are my areas of expertise. So with English, I thought, which are the prepositions in English? So if we can, these don't change. Whenever you read or you're speaking, you use these prepositions, and they do not change. They are fixed. So which are the prepositions in English? So let's have a look. The prepositions are to or at, in or into, on, under, in front of, behind, with, without, of, from, for, before, after, towards, about time, to, at the house, shop of, shop off. These are the prepositions. The more prepositions. During, except, against, between, among, since, in, until, as far as, in spite of, according to, as early as, at, across, through, near, around, in the middle of, because of, opposite, instead of, above, below, as for, over, along. That's a pretty exhaustive list of the prepositions in English. Now, which ones do we know straight away from the ones that combine with the article? We talked about to or at is a in Italiano. In, into, it's in. Nella fattoria, nella fabbrica. On, su. So those first 3 we met already. Under, sotto, we haven't met, and they don't combine with the article. In front of is davanti, behind, dietro. with used to combine, but they don't do it anymore, con il or con lo scolaro, con il maestro. So the with, the translation in Italian is, it's not combined, but in old Italian you might occasionally find col libro, you know, C-O-L, so, but it's con il libro in modern Italian. Without, senza, no combination, just that's it. Senza di te. And thank you to Colleen and Dina for showing up. It's good to have a couple of people to actually follow what I'm doing, because it's a pretty lonely area online on your own. But the idea, my idea, is that I don't have to then repeat these things here. I introduce them initially, and then we repeat them when they come up in the pratica. La pratica batte la grammatica. And that does not only apply to languages, it also applies to science, especially. Some people do the theoretical part, and if you don't do the practical part, then you miss out on something. So la pratica, somebody who sees all the experiments, is much more advanced than somebody who's heard someone talking about science experiments. That's it. And that's for you, Dina. I know some people are teachers and they'll come on and see what is this guy going to do now. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So the prepositions here, towards, so we got to what, behind, without. Off is di in Italiano. From is da. Both of these, di and da, actually combine with the article, del or dallo, etc. And I've given you the list there. So we'll come back to the prepositions, because there's more to it than meets the eye when you are actually, when you're actually learning the language. And, you know, somebody's explaining it in English. Why do you explain in English? Dovreste fare tutto in italiano, perché quando sei in una classe di italiano si parla italiano qui. And that's the problem. The problem can be that if you are too strict about how you approach your learning, it's too much. For me, I always believed that there are many ways to skin a cat, no? And having the two languages is an advantage. You know, it's not a disadvantage. It's only when you only have one language and the other person is in, let's say, when I go to Italy, qui non si parla inglese. Ma a me mi piace parlare in inglese, perché se non parlo in inglese, mio caro cognato, io poi non mi sento adagio qui in Italia. Quando vengo in Italia io devo parlare per forza in inglese. So I went to my town and I did something, and I spoke to them who didn't speak English in English to show that I spoke another language, that I wasn't from there, but I spoke Italian well. E quindi lì è la differenza, che quando tu c'hai di più devi dimostrare che c'è di più linguisticamente parlando, ma poi non puoi esattamente aspettarti che gli altri facciano lo stesso come te. They have to. I can't put Italian in my will for my kids unless they make an effort to speak it to. They will not know. They know a little bit, but if they really want to know, they have to make the effort, and that's how it is. So these are the prepositions, and I went through them before, and now I've done 10 minutes. A little bit more than 10 minutes in English. Now let's go to the next bit, and then I'll come back to the grammar. Adesso la pratica. La pratica. Here we go. So la pratica. I'm going to do a couple of the songs, and one of them I did the last week, and we can sing it again. It's called, you can sing it with me. It's called Fiorin Fiorello. Okay? So here we go. I've got it in my Dante lesson on Sunday, and also on the world history. But you can never have enough of a song, honestly. This is Fiorin Fiorello. Okay, so before I got to Fiorin Fiorello to sing it, have a look. I said, okay, how do I learn the words? Well, the words is oggi tutto il cielo è in festa. So there it is. Il cielo is the sky. Festa, la festa is a festa. It's a party. Più ridente brilla il sole, the sun, il sole. So you've written that down. E non so perché vedo intorno a me tutte rose e viole. Notice there is no article there, but there's tutte, all. So that's, that's an adjective, but it's used, it's not an article. So the adjective there before the rose acts like the article. So that's where the difference is between languages, say, and maths. In maths you just, whatever it is, it is. Here in Italiano, in languages, things change and you have to make the adjustment. Tutte rose e viole. Le rose, the roses, le viole, the violets. Here we are. See? They are here. Rose. Il mio cuore, il mio cuore. But I didn't put mio cuore because mio is an adjective. Il cuore is the heart. And the plural would be I cuori. A heart is un cuore. L'amore, l'amore. Il mio cuore è innamorato, non lo posso più frenare. Io non so per cos'è, c'è qualcosa in me che mi fa cantare. There's not one word in that. It's all verbs, conjunctions, verbs and pronouns in those 3 lines. Fiorin, fiorello. Fiorin, fiorello actually comes from fiore, il fiore, which is the flower. Fiorino is a small flower, but fiorello is a pretty flower. Fiorin, l'amore, l'amore. There it is. You find this in songs a lot. L'amore, love. L'amore è bello. Bello is an adjective. Vicino a te mi fa sognare, mi fa tremare. Sì, sognare, tremare. A verbs. Chissà perché. So there you are, the conjunctions, the adverbs, the prepositions. These are the sort of words that you meet along the way. Fior di margherita, la margherita, the daisy. Cos'è mai la vita? See? La margherita, la vita. Ok? Cos'è mai la vita? Se non c'è l'amore, che il nostro cuore fa palpitare. Notice the repetition, l'amore, il cuore, again. Fior di verbena. Verbena is like a grass. Fior di verbena. Flower, grass flower. Se qualche pena l'amor ci dà, fa come il vento, the wind, che in un momento poi passa e va. There it is. Ma quando tu sei con me, io sono felice perché, fiorin fiorello, l'amore è bello vicino a te. Now, if you had your Google search or, Chrome, just go to Chrome and type in fiorin fiorello because I wanna sing it. I want to sing it without looking at the words here, but maybe I'll just do it like this anyway. Okay, so that's the words. You're picking out the words from the Italian. So you say il cielo, la festa, il sole, le rose, le viole, il cuore, l'amore, la margherita, la vita, la verbena, il vento. Okay, and then we go in the Italian. Oggi tutto il cielo è in festa, più ridente brilla il sole e non so perché vedo intorno a me tutte rose e viole. Il mio cuore è innamorato, non lo posso più frenare. Io non so cos'è, c'è qualcosa in me che mi fa cantare. Fiorin fiorello, l'amore è bello vicino a te, mi fa sognare, mi fa tremare, chissà perché. Fior di margherita, cos'è mai la vita, se non c'è l'amore che il nostro cuore fa palpitar. Fior di verbena, se qualche pena l'amor ci dà, fa come il vento che in un momento poi passa e va. Ma quando tu sei con me, io son felice perché fiorin fiorello, l'amore è bello vicino a te. Now, I can't resist myself. You don't have to sing. You can just say, oggi tutto il cielo è in festa. Più ridente brilla il sole e non so perché vedo intorno a me tutte rose e viole. Il mio cuore è innamorato, non lo posso più frenare. Io non so cos'è. Notice the accent on the. C'è qualcosa in me che mi fa cantare. So that is an introduction to the song generally, and then you got the chorus line, Fiore in fiorello, l'amore è bello, and this one here, you can read that part and you can sing the second part in groups, and you have a lot of fun with it. So that's Fiore in fiorello is a good one to do, for beginners classes of Italian. It's and as I said, these are some of the songs that have been used. Now there are also a lot of songs that I will introduce that are new. This one here is also well known. It's called Il cuore è uno zingaro. Il cantante è Nicola Di Bari, and the author is, what's his name? Mattone Migliacci. They're two people, obviously. Il cuore è uno zingaro. Primo posto, Sanremo 1971. So there you are. Oh, I'm trying to drink here. Let's have a look. Before we go to it, notice, we'll go to the words, or take out the words. Il cuore è uno zingaro. Una ferita, a wound. Al cuore, o il cuore, the heart. La notte, negli occhi, but l'occhio, that's a plural. La colpa, the fault. Uno zingaro, a gypsy. Il prato is the meadow. Le stelle, the stars. Un anno is a year. La sera is the evening. La voglia is the want, the desire. So, here we go. Il cuore è uno zingaro. Avevo una ferita in fondo al cuore. Soffrivo. Le dissi, non è niente, ma mentivo. Piangevo. Per te si è fatto tardi, è già notte. Non mi tenere, lasciami giù, mi disse, non guardarmi negli occhi, e mi lasciò cantando così. Che colpa ne ho se il cuore è uno zingaro e va? Catene non ha, il cuore è uno zingaro e va, finché troverà il prato più verde che c'è, raccoglierà le stelle su di sé e si fermerà, chissà, e si fermerà. L'ho vista dopo un anno l'altra sera. Rideva, mi strinse, lo sapeva che il mio cuore batteva. Mi disse, stiamo insieme stasera. Che voglia di risponderle sì, ma senza mai guardarla negli occhi, io la lasciai cantando così. Che colpa ne ho se il cuore è uno zingaro e va? Catene non ha, il cuore è uno zingaro e va, finché troverà il prato più verde che c'è, raccoglierà le stelle su di sé e si fermerà, chissà, e si fermerà. Now, when you're doing this song here, the automatic thing is you're learning Italian culture as well, because primo posto Sanremo Song Festival 1971. It's a song festival that's been going on since 1951. And it's still continuing today, the Sanremo Song Festival, and it shows on SBS each year, etc., etc. And Nicola Di Bari is one of the famous singers from the 60s and 70s, and he's got a lot of songs, and I listen to him when I go for a walk. Or if you're cooking, you're bored. He's got a beautiful voice, and he's very clear when he enunciates his Italian, which is an advantage. Okay, so let's see what I can do with it. Il cuore è uno zingaro. But you need a bit of a drink first. Avevo una ferita in fondo al cuore, soffrivo. Le dissi, non è niente, ma mentivo, no, piangevo, per te si è fatto tardi, è già notte, non mi tenere, lasciami giù, mi disse non guardarmi negli occhi e mi lasciò cantando così. And now the chorus. Che colpa ne ho se il cuore è uno zingaro e va. Catene non ha, il cuore è uno zingaro e va. Finché troverà il prato più verde che c'è, raccoglierà le stelle su di sé e si fermerà, chissà, e si fermerà. L'ho vista dopo un anno l'altra sera, rideva, rideva, mi strinse, lo sapeva che il mio cuore batteva, batteva. Mi disse stiamo insieme stasera, che voglia di risponderle sì, ma senza mai guardarla negli occhi, io la lasciai cantando così. Che colpa ne ho se il cuore è uno zingaro e va. Catene non ha, il cuore è uno zingaro e va. Finché troverà il prato più verde che c'è, raccoglierà le stelle su di sé e si fermerà, chissà, e si fermerà. Ah, ah. So, what do you notice here? That you got the two lots, two paragraphs, and then the chorus, which is repeated in every song. It's a pretty good formula for Italian songs from some of the old Italian songs. And the advantage here with doing the songs when you are teaching the language is that you can build up your word vocabulary. Let me see myself. You can build up the vocabulary because it's important to build up like a bank, a word bank in your own brain. Because honestly, when you then read and you recognize this, the prepositions, and you recognize the articles, and you know whether a word is singular or plural, and there is an adjective there, all at once the language becomes interesting. But in my teaching, when I first started, basically it was a grammar translation method. You get a piece of writing and you explain the grammar and you translate it. That's it. Then they started saying, yeah, but we're not learning Italian properly because we need to speak it, and nobody ever speaks it properly. Well, that's because some people in a land where, Italian is a second language, the teachers themselves, they don't have to know all the language. As I always say, in terra di ciechi chi ha un occhio è signore. In the land of the blind, if you've got one eye, you're a lord, because you're the only one who can see. You're the only one who knows a little bit of Italian. And so, but when then the real Italians come and they start criticizing the teachers who can't speak Italian properly, then you've got problems. And we've had that in my teaching career. I've seen it. And lucky for us, things have improved over the years. But that was the translation. Then the other one was, one of the other methods was the situational method. You want to go to the railways or you want to go to a supermarket, and what do you ask and how do you say this and how do you situation. So you create the situation and you teach Italian from there. A lot of practice, a bit of grammar. Then they say, oh, that's not good enough still. We want to know. And so you start saying, well, I want to go overseas. That would be the best part. Because in a school, you only got 3 hours, a couple of hours, and most of the kids are not interested anyway. So it's a battle. Teaching is a battle all the time in another country. And then after that, we'll do the communicative method. Well, the communicative method is the one, that the audiolingual methods that were used by the Americans when they wanted to send their soldiers. Well, they had to drop them off in parachutes into Japan, and they gave them a quick course, and it's called the audiolingual method. And I was asked to look at it, and I did, and it went on for a couple of years, and then the Avanti course came, because that was a combination of a number of things, plus put the pictures, but there was a lot of, so this communicative method then took hold, and then the photograph, but when you look at a communicative course, and a child has got all those pictures in front, they can't concentrate on the words, they concentrate on the pictures. So you want to entertain them, yes, but then you put them in the wrong line, because they say, well, and they start, people were not interested, then start writing, drawing some things on the pictures. So now they occupy themselves that way. And so we come to this. Now, my Tom Padula way, after so many years, 50 years of doing this sort of stuff, more than 50 years, 55, 60, I say to myself, why in the hell is language all about? And I'm surrounded by books here in other languages. Well, the grammar is the motor of the car, of the language car. So learn how to, you want to become a mechanic of the language, then you want to teach it, you learn the mechanics. If you want to just drive it, then practice. Canta, leggi. That's it. You don't need to know much. Laggiù nell'orizzonte. No, I got to go to the next one there. But before I do that, it's I've still got half an hour. I thought to myself, we've got the other parts of speech. If you remember, we go here. We got the other part of speech, which is here. It's called conjunction. See that? Adverb conjunction. Well, I went and looked at the conjunctions, and here they are. Conjunctions in English. In English. These are the conjunctions. The ones, il bambino è il padre, la mamma è la nonna, mangio le ciliegie, ma mi piace l'uva. Ma. So, and is a conjunction. Or, either or. But, ma. That is sometimes a conjunction, that can also be an adjective and even a pronoun. But anyway, for is a conjunction. If, which is in clause. And talking about clauses, because we're doing grammar here, but in Italian, in languages, you also got phonology. You have to learn the words, the sound of the words, and how they are pronounced. So there's pronunciation and intonation. So that's a separate little section that needs to be done. You want to know where a word comes from? Then you look up an etymological dictionary. You want to write properly, you need to learn the syntax, the main sentence, and the clause that's attached to it. If I were rich, subjunctive there, I would give away all your money. Or I'll stay in front of a mirror and I say, Tom, you keep yours, give away what's in the mirror. I'm joking, I wouldn't do that. I'd probably do it the other way around. But you get the message. The message is very clear, is that you have to be in charge of your learning in a way. And it's an important thing. And do you know the conjunctions in English? Have you ever thought about them? Has anyone given you a list? Of course they have. When? When you were in year 3, grade 3? When was the last time did your language teacher ever have the time to give you these conjunctions in year 7? They don't even think about that. They say, no, il gesso, la famiglia, this and that. So, but this is what, but the advantage here is that I'm not being interrupted at all. I'm on my own, in my warehouse, and I am doing it online. No interruption. Beautiful. No one listens. That's okay. You don't do it today, you can come in another time. But here we are. Conjunctions. And, or, but, that, for, if, as, when, because, since, while, as soon as, after, the first time, as, in proportion, as. So those are the conjunctions. Conjunctions. Now I'll do one more, I will do one more song, and then I'll do some adverbs of time. So today I've concentrated on the invariable parts of speech. I haven't touched the big one, the verb. The verb is the motor, the real motor of language. That's where there are 95 parts. And then you can talk in the present tense. You can express yourself with your ideas for the future. You can review the past, and the past has got more tenses than anything else. So if you hang on with me, or you can revise these lessons, I suggest you revise lessons 1 to 6 after today. But you can also, apart from Facebook, my Facebook page, Tom Padula, Facebook, the one with the picture on it, because I've got 3 of them, you can, I'm transferring these lessons here onto my Insegna.com website in the section called blog. There's also a shop. If you go to the shop, there's all the languages there, all the Italian books. There are about 1,500, 2,000 books which I put up in a variety of sections. You don't even have to buy one thing. Just look at the covers and see if you can work out what they mean. It's a simple thing. It's you know, you can use that as an aid to learn your Italian, because there are many themes for books that are being published. They have been published, and I've got a warehouse full of them. And one day somebody will come in with a big truck and just chuck them all out. But in the meantime, they keep me company. Here we are. Okay, conjunctions. We've done the conjunction. Now, tango delle capinere. Here we are. There's another one of my good friends. Here, il tango delle capinere. I don't know whether you've heard of this one. Maybe this time I'll sing it first, just to give you, and then we'll go through the words. Il tango delle capinere. Laggiù nell'Arizona, terra di sogni e di chimere, se una chitarra suona, cantano 1000 capinere. Hanno la chioma bruna, hanno la febbre in cor, chi va a cercar fortuna vi troverà l'amor. A mezzanotte va la ronda del piacere e nell'oscurità ognuno vuol godere. Son baci di passion, l'amor non sa tacere, e questa la canzone di 1000 capinere. Il bandolero stanco scende la sierra misteriosa, sul suo cavallo bianco spicca la vampa di una rosa. Quel fior di primavera vuol dire fedeltà, e alla sua capinera egli lo porterà. A mezzanotte va la ronda del piacere e nell'oscurità ognuno vuol godere. Son baci di passion, l'amor non sa tacere, e questa la canzone di 1000 capinere. E chi ritornerà lasciando le miniere, forse riporterà dell'oro in un forziere, ma il cuore lascerà tra 1000 capinere. So that's, you know, where I whistled, that's where the music comes in. It's a beautiful, il tango delle capinere, it's a tango. You can... Okay, here we go. Il tango delle capinere. The words, I sogni, the dreams, le chimere. Le chimere is, you know, whatever you think in your heads, you know, your wishes. Una chitarra, a guitar. Le capinere, la capinera is the woman with black hair. Le capinere, because this is Arizona where they found gold, and that was Indian territory, and they had black hair, the women, and of course, you know, looking for gold, you find it, you want to have a good time. So people fell in love, they spend money. Also, what's new? La chioma is the you know, your big bush, your hair. La chioma, it's like a tree, you know, with leaves. La chioma dell'albero. La febbre, the fever. Il cuore, and sometimes il cuore, in short in Italian, il cor, you know, good for poetry and songs. La fortuna, fortune. La mezzanotte, midnight. La ronda, two or three people employed by council, the guards, night guards. Il piacere, the pleasure. L'oscurità, darkness. I baci. I don't know why you have to kiss always in the dark. Can be done in open. La passione, passion. L'amore, amor. Sometimes they say amor. L'amore. It rhymes well, with some adjectives afterwards. Il bandolero, it's a word that comes from the Spanish. Bandolero, the guy with his bandana. I don't know, il bandolero. I think it's like he's gone to gold and he comes down on his horse. It's like, whatever. You can look it up. La Sierra is the hills, coming down, hilly country. Il cavallo, the horse. La vampa is like the flame of a rose, more in terms of color. La rosa, the rose. La primavera, spring. La fedeltà, faithfulness. What a lot of people believe in, and some people don't believe in it at all. Le miniere, the mines. L'oro, the gold. Un forziere, well, that's the it's actually una cassa, a box, a wooden box with money in it. You've seen it in films. They throw gold coins, the pirate films, in the ships, etc. That's un forziere. These are the words. Now, when you actually then go back here and you read it, il tango delle capinere, so the tango of the capinere, but capinera in Italian is also a bird, a blackbird. So you could almost, there's a sort of a double meaning here. Laggiù nell'Arizona, terra di sogni e di chimere. Why? Because of the gold. People come from far away. The discovery of gold, I think it preceded or straight after. We had the gold rushes here in the 1850s, after the Californian ones. And I think from California, even before that, they found gold in America. So, people are la febbre dell'oro. They're called the fever of gold. People are always looking for money for some reason. They don't realize that the real treasures is the love you give to your close ones. Anyway, laggiù nell'Arizona, terra di sogni e di chimere. Se una chitarra suona, if a guitar is playing, cantano 1000 capinere. So 1,000 black birds or black women, I don't think 1,000 of them. There wouldn't be 1,000. There would be a few, you're lucky to get a few hundred. Hanno la chioma bruna. There again, bruno is dark, brown, sort of dark brown. Hanno la febbre in cor, the fever in their heart, the desire in their heart. What? Not for gold, per l'amor. Chi va a cercar fortuna, if you're looking for fortune in gold, vi troverà l'amor. You will find your love there. Because after the day, you want to go dancing, you want to do this, that. That's what happened. You find love. So the real treasure that you find on the gold fields is the love that you find if you find it. And then a mezzanotte va la ronda del piacere. So in the middle of the night, the governess, he or she who governs, or the group of people who govern, they send guards around to look, because also that used to transfer the gold. La ronda del piacere, e nell'oscurità, in the darkness, ognuno vuol godere. You can't do it in public, you need, so there you are. Son baci di passione, the kisses of passion. L'amor non sa tacere, and then they make all those noises. E questa la canzone, and that is the song of the 1,000 capinera, of the black birds or the black-haired women. So, how many people analyze this? This is called in French explication de texte. You explain the text. because most people, believe it or not, they just listen to the song. And they're lucky to pick up a few words from the chorus. In Italiano, it's ritornello. You know, the one that repeats, ritornello. Il bandolero stanco scende la sierra misteriosa. Sul suo cavallo bianco spicca la vampa di una rosa. Quel fior di primavera vuol dire fedeltà e alla sua capinera egli lo porterà. A mezzanotte va la ronda del piacere e nell'oscurità ognuno vuol godere. Son baci di passione, notice he dropped the O, sono baci di passione, son baci di passione, sounds good, doesn't it? L'amore, I used to love, dropping those E's in my poetry in my earlier years, and Professor McCormick said, you like, dropping the vowels at the end of the words. Well, that was l'amor, and it comes from the reading that I used to do. That's where the culture comes in, what you get used to. L'amor non sa tacere. E questa è la canzone, invece la canzone di Mille Capinere. But if you notice, passion, canzone, they are singular. You can drop the ending in the singular, not in the plural. Never piacer, you can say, but not oscurità. You can't drop the I there. You can't drop the I in baci. You can't drop the E in capinere. You can't. Not even when you sing, you can't do it if it's plural. E chi ritornerà, and then there's like there, and then there's finish there. E chi ritornerà lasciando le miniere, forse riporterà dell'oro in un forziere, ma il cuore lascerà tra mille capinere. So we've done capinere. So these are the songs, if you like, that I'm doing for you, because I truly believe that it's important. It's very important to actually do la pratica. And if you're not in Italy and you're on your own, the best way is to sing. And the reason why I'm singing is because they told me for years, because I used to have a choir group there when I was in my old shop there in opposite Mediterranean Wholesalers. There I had my own theatre, etc. And the musicians would say, no, Tom, you can't sing. You got to follow, because the music is mathematical. There are all those, and of course, I was never a soldier. I didn't learn to march. I've never been made to do things. People have tried, but then I end up doing my own things all the time. And that's probably why I'm on my own and very happy now. I got used to the lockdowns beforehand. That's why I was well prepared when it came. It's not a joke, it's true. If you get used to, but think about it. The great religious leaders, they all went 40 days in either on the mountain, Moses, or in the desert. Jesus went there, and Muhammad, even Buddha. They all had these great times on their own to get used to yourself. And now they have television programs, survive in the, survival. Those programs are survival. So really, the singing part will help you learn Italian. And if you join a theatre group and you actually learn the part, then you learn it on your own, but then you have to go and practice it with somebody else. And you can't stuff up, because then you put them off. So theatre actually is a very good means of learning the language without going to the country. And one of these days, on de ces jours, je vais parler en français avec vous, parce que je ne le parle avec aucune. I don't speak French, and I'm a French teacher. I've forgotten a lot of the stuff. But now I'm picking it up. I'm going to use some of the songs, etc., to do this. So that's the lesson today is about la pratica batte la grammatica. But, you know, you have to learn the grammatica. Now, how many of you know which are the adverbs in English? Because there are very many types of adverbs. And I've only chosen one today because I thought I've got plenty here to, I can do it the next time. I'll revise these, the adverb a bit more. And maybe I'll have the exclamation or interjections as well. And that we finish then with the 4 invariable parts of speech. Then after that, it's all practice. I don't have to do it again. So, adverbs of time. Here we go. Adverbs of time. Now, as I said, this applies to all languages. This is in English. It's in Italian, you know, people say, oh, sta insegnando l'italiano e usa l'inglese. Oh, but this is for you. You can look it up. For adverbs of time. An adverb. Today is an adverb of time. Yesterday and tomorrow are adverbs. That's that's the classification in some of the books that I've looked at. Soon, already, at last, then and now, always, till, often, sometimes, seldom. Notice these adverbs of time. How many times do we find these when we are reading the songs? I bet you if we go back now, and once I give this to you in Italian, and we go back to the songs, you have your song in front of you with a pencil. I want you to have a pencil, not a pen, and you underline these things here. Which is an adverb of time, which is a conjunction, which is a preposition, which are the words. By the time you finish, you'll have learned, you'll be very well prepared to tackle the syntax, which I will do as well. Because once, as I said, the grammar is a finite subject. The changes can occur, you know, when they revise dictionaries, etc., you know, by committees of professors, this and that, publishers, editors. But the reality is, these things here were available to me when I started learning language, when I started to read, and still today, same thing, hasn't changed. Sometimes, often, it's always been there, till we meet again. Seldom, yet, ever, early, late, before. Adverbs of time they are. It's not the only ones. Look how many there are more. Then, at that time. Then, next, afterwards, for a long time. At first, immediately, occasionally, at times, generally, usually, from time to time, now and again, at once, suddenly, at present, now, immediately, hardly, scarcely, formally, from now on. These are the adverbs of time I've found. Now, you can have a look. Adverbs of time, conjunctions, and I've given you today the prepositions. So do I need to repeat this again? No, I've got them here. I can add them, add, subtract, see which one also is present in the other. But there is also other adverbs of manners, you know, and I'll give you those lists next time. You know, it doesn't matter when I do, because the most important thing, really, is to go back to this. When I started 6 lessons ago, it was 9 parts of speech. I've gone through the noun, article and adjectives. Now we've done adverb, preposition, conjunctions, exclamations and interjections I'll do next week. The pronouns, I'll do some of the pronouns. I'll go through the pronouns. There are 7 or 8 types of pronouns. 7 or 8, you have to learn the difference. And then the verb, that's a big one, and I will leave that to last. That'll take a few lessons. But in no time at all, I've explained what the grammar is. And once you explain the grammar, adults who are intelligent human beings, and a lot of them have gone to school and have got degrees, because people here of Italian background, a lot of people are, professionals, and they don't speak Italian well. Well, come to Tom Padula and make sure that you practice. But can I say this, on Sunday, there's a couple who came from Mount Gambier to buy some books. I was very pleased for that, of course. But the guy spoke fluent Italian. And I said, ma scusami, dove sei nato? Sono nato qui in Australia. Sei nato in Australia e parli l'italiano così bene. Ma perché? Come mai? E a casa noi siamo orgogliosi di parlare italiano. Ah, so it's the pride of speaking Italian. As against someone who's, and I met some other people from the same region, said to me, che me ne frega della regione mia, siamo venuti qua perché non c'era da mangiare dopo la guerra. You know what I mean? So, attitude has a lot to do with learning a language or learning other languages. You have to have the right attitude. So these are the tools that will give you the opportunity. But senza la pratica, honestly, without practice you can't learn a language. You cannot. Because language is about... Now, I actually had in mind of doing one more song, but I don't have the words for that. But what I'll do, I'll just... I'll read you this one here in Roman dialect. I just want to show you the dialect. The dialect, or I call them local languages now, because all dialects are languages. They're not. This one here, I want to show you this because let's give you an idea of the Italian, the variety of Italian. Because, I also do the Neapolitan dialect. I've even translated from the Venetian in 17th century. When I did the play, La Puta Onorata, I translated a few of the scenes that were written in Venetian dialect into Italian. And in the books that I read about the times, Goldoni, that was the author, said, "Oh, you can't translate this into Italian. It loses meaning." I said, "Ma va là." So I translated to Italian. We put it on scene. It works. Because they said, "Oh, it doesn't work." Now the perfectionists. You have to understand. These people who talk like that, they're perfectionists. That doesn't mean that I'm not a perfectionist. It just means that I'm aware of the faults of the perfectionist. And I'm aware of the faults of the people who make mistakes all the time. But you can't know everything in detail, really. So you have to accept the fact that you make mistakes. But when have you ever learned anything that you already know? Really, think about it. If you know something, is there anything to learn? No. You only learn from your mistakes. So have a look at this one here. I'm not going to speak in Italian, I'm going to speak in Roman, but the Romans who listen to me say, questo Tom Padula, come bello fa l'amore quando è sera. How beautiful it is to make love when it's evening. La sera. We're talking about Rome here. Here we are. Chi per fa l'amore vo er salotto er separé. Chi se sceglie l'ombra profumata d'un caffè, mentre c'ho da dite a me piace amoreggiare, per le strade in libertà, quando poi tramonta il sole, so più dolci le parole, a tu per tu. Come bello fa l'amore quando è sera, core a core con una pupa che è sincera. I'm going to stop there because notice here, chi per fare l'amore. See, notice, chi per fa, the shortening of the words. Chi per fa l'amore, vuole. Er salotto instead of il salotto. Er salotto o er separé. Salotto or the separé is an adjacent room. Chi se sceglie. The già is not even, it's only in foreign words, but in Roman dialect they use it. Chi se sceglie, and it's not già, but it's pronounced I, se sceglie. Chi se sceglie l'ombra profumata d'un caffè, all Italian there. Mentre ci ho da dire. I want to say. C'ho da dite. So it's totally wrong in Italian. But it works in the local language. Mentre c'ho da dite, a me piace amoreggiare. A me piace is a double, a me piace amoreggiare. But a me piace, in other words, put a bit of extra emphasis on it. Amoreggiare, from amore, to make love. Amoreggiare. Per le strade, not per le strade, per le strade in libertà. Quando poi tramonta sole, notice, so più dolci, non dolci, ma dolci le parole a tu per tu. And then the beautiful part here, come è bello fa l'amore quando è sera. Core a core con una pupa che è sincera, quelle stelle che ci guardano lassù, non so belle come l'occhi che c'hai tu. Luce bianca dormi veia tu lampione, che ti insegna dove tu te puoi baciare, specialmente tra le rose a primavera. Come bello fa l'amore quando è sera. And that's the chorus. Now, the next strofa. Spersa nelle erbette fra le rose e le panzè, io c'ho una casetta che me fabbrico da me. C'ha per tetto il cielo, c'ha la luna pabba giù, nel tramonto è tutta blu, non ci pago mai pigione, e ci porto ogni maschietta che me va. E se un vigile mi chiede, lei che fa? Io rispondo, è casa mia, che non lo sa. L'ho innarzata con i sogni, sta casetta, e se qui la pupa mia mi vi è trovata, specialmente fra le rose a primavera, come bello fa l'amore quando è sera. If you've been to Rome and, those parks there, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. But here we've got a lot of good spots here in Melbourne too. Come bello fa l'amore quando è sera a Melbourne. Why not? It's a good one. So it's 12:29, but I started 1 minute late, so I've got a couple of minutes, and I'm going to say this. I have Dante Alighieri on Sundays at 7:25 to 8:30. I'll be doing Canto 12 of the Inferno, next time, this coming Sunday. On Thursday, 7:25 to 8:30, I have World History. And I'm doing Egypt at the moment, and also we'll be making some references to Sumer. And within those hours, there's also the songs, introduce the songs. I have Rino and Dora Marchese. Now, I'm going to introduce some of the people that I see here, who come to buy books, and I interview them. Just before, I had someone coming to bring me I bought some oil from a farm, so he delivered it, and I interviewed the guy. So it's sort of, just to bring a bit of present into the lessons, into the presentations that I make online, and just for changing. And I'm conscious of the fact that, you need to be entertained as well as, listening to my diatribe, what I explain. Because at the end of the day, really, it's only a presentation. You have to do the work. If you want to learn, that's the way to do it. If you contact me, I'll be more than happy to have a chat with you. You can do that from the Facebook page. You go to the little little dot in the corner there, and we can actually talk face to face. So nice to talk to you, and you can tell me what you think of this. I cannot answer you. Thank you very much to everyone who's come on to watch this lesson today. I'm very happy that you have. Thank you very much. And by the way, a lot of people that I can see here have come on, but no one puts a sort of like, or just put something, an acknowledgement that you've come on, so that at least your name comes up. Why not? Okay, helps my, my heart. So just put down, or even a comment. Mi piace, non mi piace, fai questo, fai questa. That's all right. Ok, allora, alla prossima. Ciao from TomPadulaTV and Insegna Booksellers. Ci vediamo la prossima volta. Grazie mille. And now this program will go on Facebook in a few minutes. Grazie. Ciao.